Hello everyone, I am Plankera, and today we're going to continue drawing Ines from Arknights. So as always, I'm probably going to revisit the sword a little bit more, but I think today I want to focus mostly on the background shadow and getting that looking neat. Before I do that though, just minor correction on the horns here, because I noticed that the angle on the ones going this way don't look quite right to me. So I want to go back and redraw those. Trying to be careful around the center part, because I think that part looks okay. This is why it's important to get those angles right, because if they look wrong, well, it's just gonna bother you. It's no good. But at least with a digital medium, it's nice and easy to go back and fix it. I'll just erase the parts I don't like, try to keep the parts that I do, and then I'll go back and try again. I guess the ability to go back and correct things as you want is both a positive and a negative. On the one hand, it makes me pretty fearless in trying new things, but on the other hand, it means that I can spend a pretty long time just reworking one part over and over again until it's perfect. That can get a little time consuming. Is that right? Let me take a look. That might be a little bit too much. Let me see, exactly how is this folding here? This part... I think this part might actually be sticking out a bit too much. There we go. That might have been part of my confusion too. Let's go back in and make sure this part's smooth. Then I can go back and add those little divots. Just getting in there, putting them back in. Oh, that's a little bit too high. That angle's not quite right. There we go. There we go. Okay, how's that? A little better? I'm not actually sure if it is. I need to go way deep. Let's take a look. Like, way deep. There we go. Just gonna keep them rough while I experiment, because I think this might be a little bit too hard. Okay, let's try the other way. Do they go this way, actually? Like I said, I'm just keeping it a bit rough while I experiment. So far, it's not looking quite right, but that did look a little bit closer, so maybe I do just have them going the wrong direction. No, I don't think that's right either. Huh. I wonder where I messed it up. It's like I know what I'm trying to do, but, maybe I'm overcomplicating it. Is that right? Let's see, we have this ridge going down the middle, where then this part will wrap around this way, and this part will wrap around that way. Do I need to curl it? I don't think so. Should I just not have it go all the way? I do think that is a little bit better than having it go all the way. Okay. It's still looking a little bit flat to me, but let me take another look at her art here. Yeah. Okay. So I'll worry about the tapering. Oh, it tapers off in just a sec. Let me just get this going first. Wasn't expecting this little correction to take so long. But sometimes art can surprise you. Sometimes things that look simple are not. It's kind of funny how that works out. Don't worry about it. Yeah, okay. And then I'll go in there and get all the lengths the way I want them, and then I'll make the ends nice and pointy. Probably extend and taper. There we go. Yeah, I was a bit surprised that I had that so far off. 'Cause it certainly didn't look that far off when I drew it for the first time. It's amazing how coming back to things with fresh eyes can really change your perspective. I'll just go in, make this part a little bit pointier. Just a bit pointier. Have it kind of go in. Do I like that? I might see how I feel about it tomorrow, but I do have something I want to do here. And I want to put a little angle on these. Make it look more like those little divots are being carved in, as opposed to just kind of sitting on top. Subtle little changes like this can make a surprising amount of difference. Not quite that strong. There we go. So right now they're just right angles. And I think it's makes it a little bit strong. Oh, what is that? Oh, that's probably background that I need to fix. Yeah, I just noticed this little weird spot right here. But I think that's just some of the transparency in the shadow in the background. You know, something I'll be fixing today, hopefully. And we'll get that looking cool. In terms of focal point, it's like the face is going to be a big one, but I think that shadow is going to be a big one too. And as it turns out, the shadow actually does kind of have a face of its own. Kind of funny how that works out. I'm gonna round it a little on this side too. And then I'll do the ones on this side. I'm not entirely sure if having it like this is correct. But I think I shall save that for my future self. See how I like it after looking away for a little while. Sometimes it can be a bit hard to tell. So I'm not going to erase on this side yet. I'm just going to do the outside, because I do think this part looks good. I'll save that for later. Okay. Let's take a look at that sword. Gonna go hide all those layers again, as always, because it makes it a lot easier to see. Okay. So far it's actually looking a bit better than it has the past few days. So that's progress. Zoom into 100% and start going in again. I should be drawing on the right layer though. Where is it? Here you are. Okay. Let's really get the spiral going. It's like this, the way I tuck it here, I keep wondering if that's actually correct, if I should be having it come out. Have it more go straight down. Just a little bit of a lump. It's like over here, it does look better when I don't have it get tucked in too much, if that makes any sense at all. And right here, I definitely don't think it should go in and then out. I think it should just go out. But I think some of that was probably just from how I was erasing during my experiment. Because I didn't want to erase the white part too much. From being zoomed out, you don't actually see that quite as much. I do think this white part just being mostly on the outside. And just looking like it's going around. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I think that's telling the effect I'm going for a little bit more. I'll just smooth out over here. Let the spiral hang off. So I'm just gonna do it for each of these segments. It's pretty self-explanatory. Not super a lot to talk about. Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Sometimes you gotta do the same thing about 40 times before it's finally done. It's just how it works. It's okay, at least with this, there's only, like, what, 8 or 9 segments? So I don't have to torture myself too much. The background's probably gonna take a little while, though. It covers a lot of ground. And it's very necessary. Because I do think that getting the shapes in the background yet will really amplify the piece a lot. A lot. Just because it's such a big percentage of it for one. But for two, her melding into those shadows and it being a little bit creepy was kind of what gave me the idea for this one in the first place. So I want to get that effect right. Just keep needing to revisit the spiral sword. Well, before my brain gets tired from drawing from too long. That's just how it goes sometimes. Just putting the part that I know that I need a bit of brain power for early on in the stream, so this way hopefully I have the brain power for it. Honestly, with as much as I draw and with as long as I can go without taking any like super substantial breaks, I underestimated the power of my, sub 5-minute breaks to just look away, recalibrate my eyes, rest for a moment, get up, go to the bathroom, get some water, all those little things of just how big of a difference that it made. Because here not only am I talking at the same time, but I'm just drawing for an hour or two. No breaks, no getting up, no looking at anything but reference. Surprisingly hard. I didn't expect it to be quite as hard as it was. Being able to look away, check something, maybe have an amusing video in the background, listen to. All those little things actually made a pretty big difference for me. So I definitely get tired out a lot more easily than I used to. Or, not even that I used to, but than I do when I am not streaming. I just found that very interesting. Never thought those little things could make such a big impact on my process and my ability to work for long periods of time. I mean, seriously, if I'm in the right mood, I can go for like 10 hours, no problem. But I really am doing a lot of little things in the every so often. So the difference feels very big. And that's fine. That's just something for when I clean up. Okay, I think it's a little bit crooked again. So I'll have to go and break out the liquify tool to fix that a little. Noticing it like right through here, mostly. And there's less adjustments than usual, which is nice. Means that I'm closing in. And let's see. The angle on some of these feels a little bit sharp. So let's go do something like this. Like I like here, but these ones do not feel like they're going around quite as well. Oh, I want it to get a little bit more spirally. There we go. And just try to these angles a little bit more similar. Especially more similar to the ones that I actually like. A little bit flatter right here. Okay. Yeah, it's definitely getting there. So I think that's good for now. Let's go work on those background shadows. Go turn all the layers back on. Okay, so for the background fire, I'm kind of basing it on smoke and fire. So I'm gonna go look up pictures of smoke and fire. To kind of get an idea of the shapes that I want to use. And all of that stuff. And we'll see if I have to make the canvas a little bit bigger to accommodate this. Like I was avoiding it for the most part, but now that I've refined the face, I don't really feel like having to resize it and potentially revisit that, so... Okay. I think I've got ideas. This is... I'm not gonna get it perfectly smooth or anything yet. Right now I'm just trying to really get the effect in there. Make parts of it super wispy, parts of it more fiery. And then I'll probably have to put in some holes and stuff like that. Because I do think some of these holes look pretty rad. I'll be shifting back and forth between my brush and my eraser quite a lot. That's just how it's gonna go. And we'll see what kind of marks I put in. And how all that shakes out. Because I'm not quite sure how all that's gonna work yet. I'm just kinda letting my hand go, not letting it think too hard. My brain gets to be in the background and maybe think about stuff to talk about. Maybe. We shall see. No, not there. The brain still cares about what things look like too much, though. I probably won't be able to let go completely. Because brains are kind of needy like that, you know? They don't want to be ignored. They want to notice all the little things, and Be like, oh, but that looks weird. Shouldn't do it like that. What are you doing? What are you doing, hand? It's kind of funny to me how that works out. Fortunately for me, I just designed a character with a bunch of tattered clothes recently, so I'm kind of used to the kind of effects I need to draw for this already. I'm just like, oh, this is actually kind of familiar. Not there. Over here. No, not there. We'll see. Maybe that one doesn't need a hole. I'm not sure yet. Gonna let it maybe wisp up a little. Just a tiny little wisp. I think it's actually just better being like this. I'll just let it blob out a little. Put a few little holes in there. A lot of this kind of thing just takes a bit of experimentation, so you'll probably see me change my mind a lot. Those people that think that artists often have a very clear image in their head, I'm sure some do. I am not one of them. I have no idea what I'm doing most of the time. I just kind of roll with it, and I'm just like, oh, that looks cool, let's keep it. Or, no, that doesn't look cool, let's try again. It's fine. It's fine if it's frustrating and things aren't turning out quite the way you were hoping. That's gonna happen. That's just gonna happen. Don't worry about it. Draw some more lines, see what happens. Worst that happens is that they look kind of bad. And then you erase them when you draw some new stuff, or you build on top of them, and occasionally you get some stuff and I'm like, oh, that little hook right there looks kind of neat, let's keep him. Don't worry about it. Just go. Make it happen. You can see I still have lots of kind of lower opacity spots that I'm gonna have to go back and erase when the time comes to clean all this up, but that's a problem for future me. Present me has decided she does not care. Present me is gonna do other stuff. Present me doesn't want to think about that right now. Sometimes you can afford to put off your problems until later. I wouldn't recommend it for everything, but, you know, eventually I'm gonna have to go and draw all the stuff that I want to exist. And I've got a lot of other stuff to work on, so I'm gonna do that first. And that's okay. That's fine. And right now I'm just kind of adding in various shapes here. I'm probably going to have to zoom out and go back over it, but right now I'm focusing mostly on the edges. And I actually kind of like that extra little detached bit there, so I think I'm going to add a few more in a few places. Maybe in some of those places where I didn't know what to do. But I felt like still needed something like, you know, like over here. Maybe it just needed a A little bit of a line coming off. I don't know, man. I'm just gonna put in a few. See what happens. Oh, that's probably fine. Trying to keep some of those little spots that I thought looked interesting. Yeah, that's probably fine. Wasn't what I was initially going for, but I think it looks okay. Or another hook thingy. I think those have been looking pretty cool. Maybe a little hole here. Yeah. Gonna take a little while to get all the way around here. Maybe I should connect this. Just a little wisp. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I don't like that one. Oh, I will get rid of it. This little hole might be interesting, though. Let's see if I can make it nice. Alright, let's keep that little shape there. I think that looks okay. And this little spot is interesting. Let's give him just a little hole. Yeah. Okay, so we're already probably about a third of the way through. This is actually going a bit better than I thought it would. I thought I'd have a way harder time to actually getting this to look nice. You know, the horns being surprisingly hard earlier, it's kind of nice that for once the surprise is in my favor. You can see here the hair sticking out through here a little bit, and I don't want to create a tangent on it, so I'm gonna make this stick out a little bit more. Here I'll make them a little bit more tenderly. And kind of have it blend with the hair a little bit more. Since that's kind of what I was going for here. Add in a few more little spots coming off. Maybe something a little wispy coming out here. I don't think I like that angle. I like the idea, but I don't like the angle I put it at. Let's make it kind of more like this. Yeah. Actually, I think that's perfect the way it is. I can just do this. Okay, cool. Sometimes the hand really does know exactly what to do. You just gotta listen to it, and not let your brain overcomplicate it. Brains are kind of dumb sometimes. Think thoughts that make no sense. Want to make you draw things that are, I don't know, too uniform, too pattern-like. Things that just don't look nearly as cool as letting your hand wiggle. Go, hand, go wiggle. Damn it, Windows, stop trying to harass me. Like, no, I'm not going to reboot my computer in the middle of a stream. I'm not gonna reboot my computer until next month, probably. Knowing me. Just keep getting these notifications, and I'm always worried that it's gonna mess up the stream. Actually, that's cool. Okay, we're keeping that. I have no idea what I'm going for here. It's working out for me, so I'm gonna keep doing it. Is that another big hole over here? So it's gonna come down. Maybe have some wispy parts inside of it. Give things a little bit more interesting. I don't know, something like that. I'm trying to clear out some of these opacity areas while I'm passing through. This is why I wanted to take a quick look at several images of fire and smoke before I started, just to get a feel for the kind of shapes that exist in fire and smoke. Because once I kind of saw them, I can replicate those shapes. Sometimes I might have to go and look back, but for the most part, like, they're pretty simple. So I was able to just, go. Just go. Make it all work. No, I definitely don't want... I definitely want her head completely engulfed in shadows. Something like this. I'm not too sure. I think it looks alright. Just kind of carve in some more holes here. Remember the kind of shapes that I saw, and I put them in too. There we go. I think it's looking pretty spooky. This is just the first pass, so we'll see if I want to add anything else after. Just gonna take out this kind of area right here. It was varying opacity spots. I'm gonna go in and make all the spots look, all the edges look nice after I kind of clear some of this out. It was bothering me, so I wanted to deal with it now. I know I said I was leaving it as a problem for future me, but sometimes present me is just like, nah, I want to get some of that. It can be nice when present me wants to be a little bit helpful. Not create problems for future me. Yeah, it is kind of funny with how many shapes overlap with the patterned clothes here. A lot of the shapes I'm using really do remind me of what I was doing there. I never really thought about it that way. I remember when I was working on the horns, there was that weird spot, and I wanted to make sure I had that fully covered up. Cut in here a little bit. I think I'll cut here a little bit too. Make all those little shapes like that. Do a nice big hole. Okay, how's it looking? A lot better than it was 5 minutes ago. Well, maybe not 5 minutes ago, but when I started the stream. Not sure if it's quite there yet, but... First I want to put this eye where I think it actually should go, which I think is right, like over here. Something like that. I want to keep the area around the goat head a little bit more, I don't know, and more head-like, less shadow-like. So I think that's where I'll keep that. Okay. Need to kind of clean up around the hair over here a little bit. And then I just want to clear up any strange spots throughout here. Okay. Now for choices. Do I go in and add some more holes? Around here. Maybe in here. Over throughout here. What do I think? No, I don't think so. I think this is fine. This is probably going to be another pattern that I revisit tomorrow. But so far, I think that's pretty cool. At the very least, it's going to be... I think it's fine until I'm ready to clean it up more fully. I think I'll just fill in that little gap. You don't want spooky tendrils coming off of here. Let's see. Make some of those shapes again. But no, I think it kind of reduces the hoof-like feeling from that, so I think I'll leave that there. Okay. Let's clean up some of this pixel dirt I see. Is that from the legs? Yes, it is. There we go. Now it's gone. So I guess while I'm thinking about the shadow in the back there, I should also do some work on the hair. I always thought the strand looked a bit strange, and I wanted to pull it back a little. All of these are just looking extremely samey. I wanted some, maybe some loose strands, make it a little bit more hair-like. A bit more hair-like in some ways and a bit more shadow-like in others. I think that's pretty rad. This is like super, like for a second there it looked like the strand might have connected with that one that I had going across there. Oh, I wanted to pull that out. Maybe I should actually have it do more like this. Just to avoid having those be too similar. I'll just... It's like I also don't want her hair to look very messy or anything. I just don't want it to look boring and claw-like either. It's hair, not claws. It should look hair-like, not claw-like. No, I don't like most of that. We're going back here. Make this a little bit thinner just so I can have another strand. A very thin one coming out here. Oh, that actually looks worse. Okay, we keep it like this. Okay. I'm gonna hide the shadow just because it wasn't working for me, so. Sometimes isolating the problem like this can help. I think the stuff through there doesn't matter much, but... Just trying to figure out what I'm seeing that's bothering me. Have a little bit of adjustment in angles. Maybe something, yeah, something like that I think will look pretty good if I get the right spot for the strand. There we go. Make this loose strand a little bit thicker. And put a tiny baby one. Maybe on this side. Or maybe nowhere. Maybe it doesn't need one. Okay, I think that's a little better. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks a bit less stringy. And then just having the moments where the hair and the shadow kind of start melding together a little bit. I think that looks pretty nice. Okay, I don't think I want to grab anything else too difficult for the rest of today. So I'm gonna go make this little goat eye look nice. Let's take a look at her art again. Yeah. Gonna flip this right side up. We can make the eye look nice and pretty. Get some very smooth little shapes. And then just making it nice and smooth. And then I want to add some fluffy eyelashes. The one in her official art actually does have fluffy eyelashes, so it makes me very tempted to put in a few myself. I'm not sure if I like it. No, I think it's good. I think I like it. It's working for me now that I zoom out and really take it all in. But maybe I should have drawn this with transparency mask instead. Went back a little bit too far, so let's... Okay, there we go. gonna make sure the smoothness on this is perfect. And then I will add a transparency mask. That this way, if I am unsatisfied with the way the eyelashes look, I can just go in and try again without having to redraw everything. And just go in. Get that nice and smooth. I like that shape. Yeah. Definitely looks a little bit intimidating, but I think it's okay. Okay. I definitely need to do it right side up. I'm not good enough to do this upside down. And we'll just cut into the shape. And we'll make some fluffy eyelashes. I really do enjoy very fluffy eyelashes. They make me very happy. So something like that. Just debating whether or not I liked them. Overall, I think I do, so I'm gonna keep going. And just refine the edge here, make it look very nice. Nice and smooth, nice and clean. Like I always get it. A few small ones out there to prevent everything from getting too monotonous. These ones might be a little bit too small though, so I'm gonna extend this one a little. A little baby one out in the corner. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Fill in some of the spots I missed. I'll add a couple of baby ones through here, just to make them look a little bit fluffier. Never be too fluffy. This one's just a little bit bigger. An extra little piece of floof coming off of it. Just so it doesn't look strange. And I think these fluffy little eyelashes will add a degree of shadowiness to it as well. Maybe kind of a little bit of furriness to it. I think that's probably good enough on that front for now. Let me clean up the hooves a little bit. Start defining those a little. Basically, the way I have this set up is that I've just clipped the shadow layer in general, and thus any red that I draw excuse me. Any red that I draw will not be able to go outside of that. See how I can just perfectly go in there. It's very convenient. And it also means that if I decide I want to, say, make this hoof a little bit smaller to be closer to the same size as the other one, well, it's easy to do, and the red will just update automatically for me. No problem at all. I just want to kind of get more of a cone shape here. There we go. Alright, I think the next big thing I'm going to have to work on is this arm. With the spiral sword, I think, being in good enough territory, I'll probably do that soon. So let's see. I'm going to revisit the idea of putting a glove on this arm. I see its hair. I have a little bit of arm peeking through here. And then I can have a bit of glove hanging off her shoulders. Do I like this? Does it make her arm look too disconnected? Can I get a bit of glove flying off? Let's see, would it wrap around here? So it'd probably be something like this. While keeping the white. Just because I did observe that no, the other glove is still tight, it just does have a kind of a weird cape thing coming off of it, so if I was going to do a glove, it would have to be all the way up here. I mean, that would mean I didn't have to draw the arm, which, you know, is pretty nice, but I don't think it looks very good. I think that looks okay, honestly. So I might keep that. Well, let's see, do I want to refine anything else before I stop for today? I guess I can do some hair. That hair isn't too bad, so I'm gonna mostly focus on the tips. Just because I think most of this is gonna be just lost in shadow. So I'm just gonna focus on the tips. Get all of those looking nice, since this is gonna define the edge of the picture in some cases. So I do want to make sure everything is very, very smooth. I'll probably go right into 200%, honestly. Let's go. It's like what I have drawn looks okay. I double checked it. So it's just a matter of smoothing it all out. So I don't need the perspective anymore. At this point I need the accuracy that being zoomed in can provide. Gotta be careful about zooming in though, because not only do you lose the overall view of your picture, the perspective as I call it, you can also just spend so much time rendering one tiny area that's just not even going to show up in your picture. Or how people view it. Because nobody's going to zoom in this close when they look at your picture. Unless they're trying to be a jerk and come up with, like, the tiniest stray pixels to criticize you for. It's like, no, they're probably going to mostly be looking at the whole picture. go. Alright, I see that there's a little blob right there that I gotta smooth on out. Most of this actually doesn't look that bad by my standards. Most of the time, when I'm drawing big strokes like this, they're a lot choppier. Okay. And there's some, I can see remains of highlight over there. I'm not quite ready for it, so I'm just gonna take it out while I finish defining the rest of this hair. It's just a added layer of complication I'm not ready for yet. There we go, just eliminate all the tiny little blobs. Get rid of that wispy tip and make it more properly tapered. I always think it looks better like that than when it just kind of goes whoosh. Or pros and cons, I guess. And I always like things being clearly defined. I don't think this little piece coming out is working for me, so I'm gonna clean that up. So you can see here, there's a little bit of a lump right there that I'm trying to clear out. It can be very convenient to do it in one clear stroke like this, but sometimes that's easier said than done. Sometimes that's easier said than done. Here I just kind of ended up creating two weird blob areas, but I think it'll look better once I smooth those little divots out. There we go. Maybe that's just a bad angle for me. Let's tilt the canvas a little. I'm always a little bit hesitant on tilting the canvas when I'm working in this style because it changes the way the pixels alias slightly. Which, for people that don't know, aliasing is, when you draw a curve. Like this, if you zoom in really close, you'll see that the pixels start varying in opacity and stuff like that. That's because pixels are just, purely square. You can see on the circle brush here that they are still square. And so the way computers get around that is through aliasing, where they varies the opacity of the curve a little bit to give the illusion that it's actually curved as opposed to made up of a bunch of tiny squares. And the way the pixels alias is actually relevant to the style, and rotating it does make them look a little bit different. You can see that I do want to stay no rotation as much as I can get away with. As much as I can. Man, I gotta say that working the past couple of days has been, or working today has been nice because I finally cleaned my monitor, so I'm not seeing phantom pixel dirt everywhere. Now if I see pixel dirt, it's probably actually pixel dirt and not just a remnant of a handprint or something. I should have done it sooner. I just kept getting caught up in other things and just kept getting put on the back burner. But I'm glad it's finally done. I can see so much better now. The hand is starting to not cooperate. But I'm kind of hoping that I can finish off the hair here before I stop for today. It's like there's a lot less of it than it looks because most of it is just gonna get buried in the shadow in the background. I only have a few strands here left to really refine. Most of them honestly are looking pretty good. Take a big old chunk out of this one. This one is messy. It's very messy. Only on the tips though. Just the rest was pretty okay. Just gotta meld those tips into the parts that were nice and neat. I think the shape is okay. Oh, I'ma keep it. There we go. This part I want to round off a little bit more though. I'll just keep applying a thin layer of black, that little gap, until it's kind of filled in the way I want it to be. Okay, now I have to get this part. This part is a bit weird. How exactly should I fix that? Probably just get away with very carefully cutting through here, smoothing that out, just to kind of get everything to be the right shape here. Getting rid of some of these smaller little lumps and blobs. Pray that I'm not seeing lumps and blobs because of the aliasing. I don't think I am though. How's that looking? I'm gonna turn the shadow back on. Still needs a bit more work, honestly. I do have to actually get those tips. But all the ones on this side are definitely fine as is. And with as much trouble as my hand is giving me, I think I might just do it tomorrow. Let's see. Do I want to... It's mostly there, and I can see that this is not smoothing out quite the way I was hoping. Oh yeah, if my hand isn't cooperating with me, that probably means it's time for a little break. So thank you all for coming. If you'd like me to take a look at your own creative works, feel free to message me on Twitter or Instagram, or just add me on Twitter and Instagram and I'll take a look. Maybe leave some comments. See you all tomorrow. Goodbye.